Things I do at 2:30 a.m. Establish cat food detente between Baxter and Barnice in the bathroom. Say that 3 times fast. Be nice. This is yours. Here, Barnice. Kitty, kitty. Hey, come on. This is yours. This is yours. And now here comes Fizzy to mess the whole system up. What is it, Barnice? You good kitty? Yeah, you didn't want anything to eat anyway. You just wanted some attention. Okay. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday. It is December the 6th. And today's agenda is I'm going to put up my horse Christmas tree this morning. And I'll show y'all some footage of that. We have dressage club practice tonight for the Christmas show, because Christmas show is in a little over a week. And yes, here's Simon. I want to start trying to get the house tidied up because I need to start making wreath forms for the wreath party. It's Sunday, and Miss Marianne invited me to Rory's circus act performance. Hi, Simon. her circus act performance thing Saturday night. Apparently you have to purchase tickets in advance, and Marianne had bought some tickets, and now Tommy, who's trying to get ready for a big pottery show, can't make it. I told her, I said I'd love to go. I said if Tommy changes her mind at the 11th hour, I'm perfectly fine stepping out of the line, but yeah, I'd love to go. So hopefully I can get some video of that. But anyway, so today's first agenda is to put up that tree and get it decorated. I found all my ornaments. We had rain, as you'll see in my clips. I slept in just about an hour today because I was awake in the night because there were some storms, and the way they lined up is they were basically just moving straight east to west, and they came right over the top of us. So we got almost an inch of rain last night, which is good, but also not so great because the tarps had blown off the pins, so now my pins are muddy again, and my storage building tarp had blown off too because it was leaking, so figure it's a little damp in there, so I'll have to open it up and let it dry out this morning, but it's life on a farm. Anyway, so like I said, doing some decorating. I want to work on some more of those stars. I want to make a couple more today, or 3 or 4 more. I got it in my head, oh, I should make one for everybody coming to the wreath party, but that's probably not realistic because I think there's at least 10 people who have RSVP'd, although I'll probably get faster as I make more of them, but you know, we'll see, because I mean, right now I've got to make wreath forms probably tonight. Tomorrow I've got to make sure I've got all the boxes and everything out of the house from the decorating. And then Sunday morning, I'll get up early and sweep and mop and have a quick wipe around of the house, the parts anyway that people are going to be coming into. And then I'll have to go cut all the greenery. I'll have to go cut all the fresh greenery for the wreaths. So everybody starts arriving. I said 1, but I figure people will start coming more like 12:30. So I'll need to make sure that I've got everything cut and here and unloaded by 11:30 so I can have it sorted. I try to sort it into piles, but anyway, we'll see more of that on Sunday. So for right now, I'm going to get on with my morning. Oh, Muffins, are you asking for a pet? Hi, Muff. You good girl. Oh, you're telling me you want petted. She's a sweet. What a sweet. What a sweet. Oh, yes. Oh. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Oh, and now Simon's cat too, so I'm just being requested in every direction. Okay, so as promised, I'd tell you a little bit about these horse ornaments I have been mentioning. Oh, Holly's talking to me in there. Hi, Fizzy. Every year, Breyer Horse Company, the people who make the model horses that you might have had when you were growing up as a kid, they come out with what they call their Beautiful Breeds series. Now, the first in this series wasn't really officially designated as the first. It was just an idea that they had that came out, and it was the Arabian horse. It came out in 2003, and I happened upon one at a saddle shop that was on clearance sale and picked it up. Well, then I noticed that the next year they came out with the Frisian, which is my Frisian ornament is right here. It's kind of hard to see because it's a black horse. But at the time I owned a beautiful little Frisian sport horse cross mare named Pandora. So I bought it in her honor. And then I noticed each year they would come out with a new one. So I've purchased them every year. I've bought them since the beginning. And so what I've got here is a selection. This was 2017's ornament, the Morgan, and in mine that I had bought got broken. I wonder how that happened. I wonder if a little precocious gray tabby cat had anything to do with that. Possibly. Then last year I didn't put up a tree, but last year's ornament I went ahead and purchased. It was the Chincoteague pony, like Misty of the Chincoteague, which you might have read as a kid. And then this year's ornament is here. It is the Fjord. Or is it a fjord? Yeah, it's a fjord. A fjord pony. Okay. And here. Now, they also put out a series of ones about famous thoroughbreds. They have, for example, Native Dancer, who was never a Triple Crown winner, but certainly was important to the development of thoroughbreds as we know them. And then Zenyatta, who is a famous mare that raced. Also, there's a Seabiscuit ornament as well. But anyway, they also do a series on the Triple Crown. Now, they haven't completed it, which is really frustrating to me. They started with Sir Barton, who was the first winner, and they started making them. But they haven't finished that set. Like, they still need to do, I think, Omaha. And there's one more that they need to do. But anyway, 3 years ago, in, let's see, was it 2017? No, 2015. 2015, American Pharaoh won the Triple Crown. And then last year, Justify won. And Justify was actually ridden by Mike Smith, who, when I followed horse racing, was one of my favorite jockeys. I don't really follow horse racing anymore for various reasons, which we can talk about at a later time. But I still like the horses, so I purchased the American Pharaoh and the Justify ornament. I got this one 2 years ago, and then I got this one last year. So they've just been sitting waiting for me to put the tree up, so that's what I'm doing. The last important bit to putting up a Christmas tree in my house is baler twine, because that's what anchors all the trees to the walls. I've got hooks in all my walls where I put Christmas trees up, or nails, and I tie my trees because cats. Okay, so I have finished putting all the decorations on my horse Christmas tree. And here comes Fizzy because she heard me talking. We'll start up here with the tree topper. The tree topper is actually 4 triple-aught horseshoes tied together with leather strapping that I would put on the back of a saddle to tie a bedroll or something on with. And then I have this burlap red ribbon wrapped around it. Then you'll notice there is a lariat rope. And there's a story to this lariat rope. My dad was trying to lariat a sick cow, and it was years and years ago. I don't remember when. I think I was already living in Oklahoma, but I hadn't been there for very long. But he was trying to get this cow up so he could doctor her, and he had lariated her and had her tied up, and then when he went to let her go, he didn't get the loop off of her horns, and she took off with his rope. So she took off with his rope, and it was never to be seen again. And when I moved home, that's probably 10 years after the fact, when I moved home, I would go to bush hog, and every time I would go to bush hog, he would say, remember, there's a rope over there, and there's a shop hammer. He had lost a shop hammer at some point, too, over there. Well, I found the shop hammer one day in the wintertime when the grass had kind of died back, and got the shop hammer back, but I never found the lariat rope. And after he died in 2012, that fall, I was out bush hogging, and I saw this frayed end. Sorry, the cats turned my phone off. I saw this frayed end after he was bush hogging, or I was over there bush hogging after he died. I saw this frayed end of a rope sticking up out of the ground. So I stopped and I started pulling on it, and pretty soon I had pulled this entire lariat rope out of the ground, where it had been laying on the ground and the grass had grown up around it and everything. And, you know, it'd been there for a while, so it was pretty twisted up and everything, but I brought it to the house and I let it sit. Well, that Christmas, my mom was pretty depressed, and, you know, obviously as you are, and she had just lost her sister and her brother, so she was the last sibling alive. And so I decided, at that time we needed to work on the house quite a bit and needed new floors. And so I decided in the living room I would put up several Christmas trees. And I had already been collecting horse ornaments for a while. So I put the trees up all in the living room. And I was, you know, as you do, looking at ideas in magazines or whatever. And Pinterest really wasn't a thing then. But I thought, I need something more on this tree. And I remembered that lariat rope, and I had it hanging up out in the garage. And I thought, that would be just the thing. And it just sort of magically exactly twined around the tree perfectly, even the loop that's still in it, you can see there. So I thought, okay, that's Dad's way of telling us Merry Christmas. And so every year when I put up my horse tree, one of the things that I put on it is this lariat rope that belonged to my dad. So that's the story. That's why there's a lariat rope on my Christmas tree. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much going to be all the decorating that I do. I've got one more thing that I'm going to get out. It's a lighted animatronic thing that I want to get out. And I'll probably put that out on the front porch. But it just takes like 5 minutes to get out and set up. I'll probably do that later this afternoon. But so now I'm starting to carry boxes out, the decoration boxes out. I was going to try to finish tidying up my spare room before Sunday, but I don't think that I'm going to have time to do that with everything else that I want to do, and I'm just not going to put that pressure on myself. Like I said, I still need to make wreath forms for the Christmas party on Saturday, and we've got practice tonight. I've got to feed and water, obviously, before I go over there. At some point, I need to find time to go to the grocery store. But I think I'm going to call it good for decorating. It's way more than I did last year, so I'm pretty proud of myself. I've got my horse tree and my family tree up. I've got some other decorations sitting around, and I'll take you on a little tour one day for a vlog. I'll take you kind of on a tour. I've got lights on my little cabinet in the kitchen. I've got a little tree up in there. I've got a little tree up at the end of the hallway in a basket, and a couple little sit around kind of decorations, and I've got some lights outside, and I think that's it. I mean, I think that that's enough for this year. I've got the trees in my spare room that I have decorated, but I just need to finish putting stuff away and sorting through stuff in there, and that's kind of my area to go through stuff that I want to donate and get rid of, and right now it's kind of piled up, so I'm just not going to worry about having that open on Sunday for people. They don't need to go in there. We spend most of our time outside, and the weather looks like it's going to be gorgeous on Sunday. It's really kind of warm here today. I mean, I'm very comfortable just in a t-shirt and blue jeans today. So, yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm going to finish carrying boxes out here, and I'm going to sweep all these needles up, because even if you put up a artificial tree, you still have shedding. So I'm going to put sweep and get all that stuff carried out, and then eat some lunch and go out and feed and water, and then head over to the barn. Stay in there a minute. You my good boy. I love my lucky pup. You look so sweet laying there in the sun. You're my good boy. Look, it's Miss Betsy. We pulled in one behind the other. Miss Betsy. I'm here at the barn, and we're going to have dressage club practice tonight. Miss Marianne's youngest granddaughter's birthday party is today, so she's going to be doing that, so she won't be at club practice. Looks like maybe the fence guy is here. I hope to heck he gets this fence working, because we've got a mess out here with these fences not working and not being able to put horses where they need to go, so hopefully he's getting it fixed. Well, we had a little chaos and mayhem when we got here. The Seagraves herd, which is Sterling and Magic, and then Zip and Jake, had tore down their fence and were in with my horses, and so that was they weren't fighting, at least. Right now the fence is down and the fence guys are here, and the fence is not electrified, so we're keeping all of ours up in the barn paddock, which has a solid fence around it. So it was a little bit like musical chairs crossed with Tetris, but I think we've got it figured out. So right now, Bo is in the round pen with Melissa. Flame is tied up out here in the arena. Tuffy is in Champagne stall, because we've got Jake and Zip in these two stalls. Sky's out in the aisle, being good. I'm surveying the damage here. Sterling is here, but I'm fixing to let him out so he can get to the hay. They are bringing up Buckskin and Brown Sugar, and then out in the barn paddock we have Magic, Shooter, and Gusty, who are in different groups, but they get along okay. So they're all out there eating their bale of hay. And Addison's been overfeeding Bella her special weight gain food. So some sense of normalcy has been returned. Okay, so right now what I'm doing is mixing up food for the mare, Bella, that needs to gain weight. So what we use, this is our end result here, but what we do is we mix up this feed, which is actually catfish food. It's floating catfish food, like if you had a pond and you were wanting to feed your catfish, but it's high in fat. And then we use our regular 12% feed ration. And then the last thing we do is, we put a cup of vegetable oil on it, and that's a good way to get fat and calories into a horse that's easy on their stomachs. So we mix up a cup of that and pour that over, and we let it soak. So this will be food that she'll actually eat tomorrow. Well, I feel like a terrible human being right now in all the chaos of trying to get a stall free to put one of the horses that was loose in. I tied Flame up in the arena, and she had herself mostly untied, and she got her back legs tangled in her lead rope, and she fell down. And now she's sore on her back end. So she was sitting kind of like a dog would sit, and I hope she hasn't done any permanent damage. But I feel like a terrible human being right now. So I gave her some bute, and I've been walking her around. I'm going to see if she's moving any better than she was just a little bit ago. She's using it better at the trot. Good girl. That helped a little, didn't it? Good girl. I think actually she may be more sore in her neck. So I'll do some neck adjustments on her here in a little while and see if that helps. I forgot the cardinal rule. You always take care of your own first. Quit worrying about everybody else's horses. Take care of your own first. And that was my mistake. I'm sorry, girl. You ate good, so she's not. He likes to complain. He's a complainer. So bring your hands back towards your hips just a little bit. Good, Addison. Good, Zoe. Okay, Sylvia, shorten your range just a little bit and let's see if we can get a little more collection from him. Just a little bit. There you go. Okay, let's reverse and go the other way. Think about your hands and trot. Nice. That looks good, Melissa. Yeah, okay. Walk. Like when you're jumping, look where you're going. Okay, good. Sylvia, bend your elbows a little bit more and bring your hands back towards your hips. Yeah, like that. Good. All right. Good. All right, let's trot. So cue the trot, half halt, and trot. Now, if you don't get it without the voice, then use your voice. There you go. She'll learn it eventually. Now, keep your hand. Well, I just got home. I stopped at Marianne's house for a while, and she fed me because I was all shook up after everything that had happened at the barn, and I hope Flame is going to be okay. I gave her some Butte, which is kind of like Tylenol for horses, and she seemed to be moving better when I took her out. I think her neck is what's going to be sore. I'll call the vet and see if I can't get her to come out and adjust her. It just makes me really aggravated at myself because, you know, I'm sitting here trying to take care of everybody else when I should be taking care of my own first. And I'm just aggravated with myself right now, but what's done is done. I can't go back to 3 o'clock this afternoon and do things differently. So anyway, so I'm exhausted after everything that happened this afternoon, so I'm going to call it quits for today's version of Vlogmas. Tomorrow is a new day, and we'll see how it is. We'll be at practice tomorrow morning, so hopefully we'll find out that the fences worked and that everybody stayed where they were supposed to, and everybody is fine tomorrow, and tomorrow is a brand new day, right? So anyway, I'm going to call it quits for tonight, so I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.